Hey, it's Kyle and Sean. We're attending the Rare Patient Advocacy Summit, and we want to meet you there. Join us for the world's largest gathering of rare disease patients, advocates, caregivers, and stakeholders in beautiful San Diego, September 18th through the 20th.
With more than 100 speakers and 4 tracks of educational sessions, this is a chance to connect with others in the rare disease community. At the end of day 1, Kyle and I will be facilitating a live forum, much like the one you're about to hear in this episode.
You can learn more by visiting globalgenes.org/PA Summit. That's globalgenes.org/PA Summit. We hope to see you in San Diego.
Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
We believe life is about how we react. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for listening. I am Kyle.
I'm Sean.
Hey, Sean, our regular listeners know that we're on a little bit of a break right now, and we've received a few comments and emails and texts and stuff from people that have told us that they missed hearing us each week. Like, how cool is that, right?
Surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. So we wanted to say we really appreciate that. And, you know, that is one of the reasons why we decided to take a little break, because we want to make things awesome for all of our listeners and make sure we're doing the best job we can.
Yeah, backing off from those weekly publications just allows us to kind of reorganize and gives us a little extra time to rethink how we can do this a little better down the road. But don't fret, because Kyle and I are both individually on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, but so are the Two Disabled Dudes as a podcast. So please find us, Two Disabled Dudes, or connect with us individually. We still post and we're still doing stuff on social media, so
nice.
We're not completely gone.
Yep, dude, right and now. I find myself just coming up with ideas and writing them down, and so I think this is going to be a really valuable thing for us.
For sure. Part of me is afraid that when we come back, we actually have more work than what we were looking for.
Yep. So, Sean, anyway, we recently had the opportunity to do a live recording at the Amicus all-company meeting in New Jersey. Sean, why do you think it is important for us to be live whenever we can?
Yeah, you know, we've done these live elements or live shows a few times, and when you're in the room with either your interviewee or an entire audience, there was such a special energy, and it's almost a tangible vibe when you're face to face. It's so much easier to connect with people and to understand, or maybe hopefully understand, where they're coming from and what life is like for them. So not only is there just a fun and special energy, but it's a really good way to connect with other people in the rare disease space or in this disability world. Because, you know, we've said it before, when you're diagnosed with something, especially a rare disease, it's really easy and common to feel all alone, like you're the only one in the world with it. So being with others and connecting in person, I think helps us all realize, oh, I'm not alone, and there are other people just like me or with very similar scenarios. Not only that, I think it's valuable for the company like Amicus Therapeutics or the others that we've worked with. These amazing organizations work day in and day out to discover or find meaningful therapies or even a cure. And so when we're able to be in person and shake hands and connect with them, I think it helps reinforce their purpose. It encourages the work they do every single day, and it helps them refrain from getting lost in the mundane.
Yep, I agree. You know, they're in a lab looking at a petri dish all day, or they're filing papers, and, you know, every single job is really important in the whole process. But, you know, if they ever lose sight of why they're doing it, I think that's a loss, you know? And so hopefully doing a live program like this can help them come back to center and remain focused on why they're doing it. So, so everyone, our listeners are about to hear this episode, this live recorded episode. There are a couple things that we want to point out before we get into this episode. It took place at the Make-A-Wish wishing place in New Jersey. So it's this big castle. It was super cool. We need to post a picture of us in front of it on our website so everyone can check that out. But the event actually took place in a huge tent right next door to the actual building. And there were 600 plus people in there. And it was super cool, but it was really hot and humid and muggy that day. And so the air conditioning was super loud and inside the tent. And we were talking about it before where we're like worried that it was going to affect the recording. Yeah. But it actually turned out really great. However, about 5 minutes in, right at the end of our intro, it started raining like crazy, so hard, and it was a tent. So you can imagine that the rain was really loud on the roof of the tent. And it was something that I personally did not anticipate at all. So it was really came out of the blue, and we were sitting there on stage like we couldn't even hear the people that we were interviewing. We're just going, what is going on? Yeah, so
there's a part, and you'll even hear me mention it on the recording. Like, it was so loud. Like I said, we couldn't hear anybody, so I wasn't sure the audience could hear us. You know, it's different on their side because they had all the speakers. In the recording, it is crystal clear. It sounds fine. Of course, you're going to have this background. So what I was worried about was, are we canceled? Should we just stop now? If nobody can hear us, let's be done. But of course, everybody in the front row was like, no, keep going. You're fine.
Gosh.
So yeah, thankfully the microphones picked up everything, but it was certainly a challenge in the midst of that tent.
So keep that in mind. I think the wisdom of these three teenage girls that you're going to hear cuts right through all the distraction of the rain and stuff. So I really think you're going to enjoy this. The first voice you'll hear is Jane Gershkowitz. She's the chief patient advocate at Amicus. She really helped us organize our involvement in the event. So we're really grateful to Jane. Without further ado, here it is. Enjoy.
At Amicus, we're really privileged that we're able to work with people living with rare diseases, their family members, and to learn from them and to understand what's important to them, what's meaningful, and in turn, I think that does bring great meaning to the work that we do. It's really a pleasure to introduce to you today's panel. I remind you that this is being recorded and it will be a podcast. So stay tuned for more information about that. But facilitating today's panel, Kyle and Sean, better known as two disabled dudes, and dudes they are. Both Kyle and Sean live with Friedreich's ataxia. Friedreich's ataxia, or FA, is a rare neurodegenerative movement disorder, and it does affect balance and coordination, among other things. But neither of these dudes has let FA get in their way, it has not limited them. In fact, both Kyle and Sean have completed several long-distance bike rides, including what's called the world's toughest bike race, Race Across America, or RAM. Their RAM journey is documented in the award-winning film, The Ataxian, and I highly recommend that you get that. And they have been doing this podcast series for quite a while now, where they're interviewing people in the rare disease community, people who live with diseases, people who are running organizations or associations, scientists, researchers. And today, they're going to interview for us this very special panel of young ladies. We have Maya with us from Pennsylvania, and Annie from New York, and Caterina from right here in New Jersey. So I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys do your thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane. All right. As Jane said, we are the two disabled dudes, and we both have Friedreich's ataxia. To add to Jane's description of FA, it involves balance and coordination loss, scoliosis, diabetes, vision loss, hearing loss, and life-shortening heart complications. And like many rare diseases, there is no treatment or cure. When I was diagnosed with FA, my family and I, we felt alone. Like no one in the world had ever heard of Friedreich's ataxia, but then we met the FA community and we realized that we could be part of the solution. And we felt so empowered. And then I met Sean, and we did Race Across America, the documentary, and here we are today. We are so happy to be here.
And congratulations to all of you. You're now featured on the Two Disabled Dudes podcast, a weekly show you can subscribe to on iTunes or your favorite podcast app, whichever is fine. My name is Sean, and I was diagnosed with Friedreich's ataxia in 2007. And one of the most prominent messages I walked away with from that prognosis was that there would be a day where I wouldn't be able to walk, much less riding my bike across town or across the country. And I think you can tell just from the introduction and perhaps what you're going to see today, I refuse to accept the diagnosis as the dictation of my life, and I continue to do so. I don't allow disease to define who I am or what I can do. Kyle and I became friends because of that shared diagnosis, and we've been friends for more than a decade, sharing in the journey because we share in this passion, or we shared this passion for living life beyond any circumstance, doing what we can while we can.
We believe that life is not about the things that happen to us, but about how we react to those things. And on our podcast, we interview people with all kinds of disabilities, disabled athletes, accomplished public speakers, and leaders in the rare disease world. We really try to get to the heart of living life beyond circumstances. That's what our podcast is all about, and that's what we're doing here today.
So thank you to Jane and all of you, Amicus, for inviting us to this tiny little place. We're honored to be here at the Make-A-Wish Castle.
And we're in awe, and we're so grateful for the purpose you have here at Amicus. There is nothing more important that you can do with your lives, with your time, as finding cures, treatments and cures for rare diseases. And for that, we thank you. So we realize that your CEO is the subject of a book, and he's a character in a movie played by Brendan Fraser. So Sean and I, on the way over here, we were trying to figure out what, and we want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is more good-looking, Brendan Fraser or John Crowley? So let's hear it for Brendan Fraser. What do you guys think? All right, how about John Crowley? Yeah, nice. All right.
We also have a few friends with us today. We're here to talk about what it's like to live with the rare disease. We believe it's absolutely important, like Emily alluded to or talked about, is understanding the purpose of who you are and what you're doing and maybe the role you play, the purpose behind your work. And I think you'd all agree, if what we're doing isn't for other people, then what the heck are we doing here?
When Sean and I first started interacting with the rare disease community, we found out that it wasn't about disease. The conversations that we were having with people was never about disease. It was about, oh my gosh, I just ate the best hamburger. Or you got to see these pictures of this vacation I just took. It wasn't about disease, it was about everyday stuff. We want to have a conversation not about disease, but about, oh, it's raining. All right, here we are. Love it. We realized that when we're having conversations with other people with rare disease, we could put disease aside for a little while and really focus on who we are and what an amazing gift that is.
And that's what we do on our podcast, and ultimately that's what we're doing here today. So without further ado, and with much more rain in the forecast, ladies, tell us about yourselves. Caterina, we'll start with you. Can you give the crowd a little glimpse of who you are?
So hi, I'm Caterina. I'm 16 years old. I have the syndrome, Hurley syndrome. I was diagnosed when I was 1 year old. I'm a freshman at Princeton High School, so yeah.
All right, Maya, let's hear from you. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm 17 years old. I have Fabry disease. I was diagnosed at 10 years old, so I've known about it for a fairly long time. I'm going to be a senior in high school, which is like crazy and scary, but I like to sing. I like to hang out with my friends.
All right. Thank you, Maya. All right, Andy Hamilton, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Andy Hamilton. I'm 15 years old and I have Friedreich's ataxia. I was diagnosed with Friedreich's ataxia when I was 9 years old, and I just finished my freshman year of high school.
Oh wow.
All right, so
Sorry. Everybody can hear us fine, right? Because I have no idea what anybody else is saying up here. But we're gonna keep going, yeah? All right.
all right. So on our podcast, we do a segment that is, we call it rapid fire questions. So this segment, we're gonna ask you guys 3 questions each. You can't think about your answer. You have to just respond. You can't explain your answer, and so that's about it, right, Sean?
Yeah, they're gonna be black or white, yes or no.
Yeah.
So either or. Just go with whatever comes out first.
All right, Maya, we're gonna start with you. Have you ever used a payphone?
No.
No. All right. If you were if a boy asked you out on a date, would you rather go as just with him or with a group of people?
Just with him.
All right.
Sorry, Mom.
All right. If you were going to go on vacation, would you rather repeat your Make-A-Wish trip to London or go to Baltimore for the weekend?
Definitely go back to London.
Okay, all right. I like it.
Just for the record, we didn't ask the parents for permission on some of these questions. All right, Caterina, I've got a couple questions for you. Do you know what a Walkman is?
The what?
Yeah, that's good enough. A Walkman.
No.
You probably have never heard of it. I love it. And I do believe you want to be a fashion designer, right? Okay, so Gucci or Prada?
Prada.
Okay.
All right.
And then, of course, we're looking for honesty with all these questions. Would you rather go to the Caribbean for a week with your parents or just go to the mall with your friends for a couple hours?
With my friends. Sorry, parents.
Sorry, Mom.
All right, Annie, have you ever seen a typewriter?
A what?
Exactly, a typewriter.
A typewriter.
No. Okay. All right, next question. Do you prefer the Jonas Brothers or One Direction?
One Direction.
One Direction, all right.
More options that way, huh?
And the last question, would you rather hang out with, if you would hang out for one day, would you rather hang out with your mom or your dad? What do you think? This is being recorded. Remember that.
My dad.
Yeah. So I have to point out that she had to say that because her dad is sitting right there.
Her dad drove today. So.
All right.
All right, ladies, thanks for having some fun with us. We want to know a little bit about your condition. Can you tell us a little bit about your disease, maybe what you have dealt with? So maybe the surgeries you've had, kind of the process. Caterina, we'll start with you if you don't mind.
So I've had about 12 surgeries in the past 10 years. They were tiring, very hard. Some of them were very big. I had spine surgery about 2 years ago. It was hard. I had to wear a collar for about 2 months while I was going to school. I recently had cornea transplants because I cannot see out of one of my eyes. So it's been very helpful. So the surgeries have made a difference, but it was hard recovering from all of this. So
Thank you. All right, Maya, we'll just go right down the line.
So I have Fabry, as I said earlier. I was diagnosed 7 years ago. It's a genetic disorder, so my mom has it and a few of my other family members have it. Our family was diagnosed in 1984, so just a couple years before I was born, so we've known about it for a long time. It didn't really come as a surprise to me. It's an invisible disease, so you look at me and people wouldn't exactly know that I have something wrong with me or a disability that affects my daily life. So there's always struggles with that, but I've been lucky enough to have a good support system and a lot of good people that have accepted my limitations and what I deal with.
And I apologize if you said this, but are there specific symptoms that you deal with today?
Yeah,
On a regular basis?
Yeah, I deal with a lot of pain, like joint pain, neurological pain. I get headaches almost daily. I deal with a lot of fatigue. So just like a lot of different things that you can't see, but definitely affect how I live my life.
Thank you.
So before we move on, I'm wondering if we might be able to get a little more sound out of these monitor speakers here, because we're having a tough time hearing. So, yeah. Sorry. Thank you, Maya. Go for it.
I can hear Kyle just fine. I think we might be getting somewhere. Annie, just in case you forgot, we're curious about maybe what you've dealt with so far. Tell us a little bit about Friedreich's ataxia and how it's impacted you.
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 9, and some of the things I experience on a daily basis is balance. I'm in a wheelchair most of the time. For school, I'm in a wheelchair almost every day. And then I also experience loss of coordination. So it's very hard for me, like, to write, or I'm very clumsy, so I often drop things, and I don't.
So Annie, you weren't diagnosed until you were 9. Has your outlook changed? Outlook on life changed since you were diagnosed?
It's definitely changed a lot. When I was 9, you couldn't really see that anything was wrong. I was clumsy, but it wasn't really out of the ordinary. But then as I got older and it started to progress, it definitely got a lot harder. And this past year for high school, I had to be in a wheelchair for school, which was a big change for me. I was scared about how everyone would react, but everyone was great, and
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Okay, my next question for Maya. What would you say are your biggest fears for the future?
My biggest fears are probably that I'm never gonna learn how to handle both, living with a rare disease and my normal life, and I'll never learn how to get that balance. And so far, I've been trying. It's kind of hard because I missed a lot of school this year, and that was something that I guess made me insecure, because I felt like I always had to prove to people that I wasn't faking it or looking for attention, that I actually have a chronic illness. And so I guess I'm scared of never being confident in my abilities to deal with my disease in my daily life.
On the flip side of that, what are your greatest hopes? That I guess I will learn, and I'll keep growing and growing stronger, and I'll be able to spread more awareness for rare diseases, and there'll be more medical advancements and awareness about not just Fabry, but all rare illnesses, and that it'll just get better from here on.
Love it. All right, Annie, if there was one thing you could change about your disease, what would it be?
I would definitely change the progression of my disease so that it didn't get worse, so that it would just stop at some point and it wouldn't continue to get worse, because it's very hard for me to accept that I'm just gonna get worse and there's nothing really I can do about it. And it's really hard when you go to do an ordinary thing that you've done for the past 15 years of your life and you can no longer do it anymore. And that's really hard.
Can you give us an example of one of those everyday things?
It's like if you go down to like pick up your clothes from the floor, it's just an ordinary thing that everyone does. But then you can no longer do it anymore, and you can't balance to squat down on the floor, so it's hard to accept that either someone has to do that for you, or that you have to change your way of doing that.
So I'm going to
Thank you, man.
prod a little bit more, Annie. Knowing your condition is going to get worse as of right now, what gets you out of bed every day?
Excuse me?
What gets you out of bed every day knowing that tomorrow might be harder than yesterday?
Probably the people that I love, my friends and my family, definitely motivate me to stay trying. And knowing that I'm gonna get worse has helped me to live every moment of each day to the fullest, because I know that tomorrow could be worse than today. So I try and live every moment as best as I can.
That's a great message.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Caterina, I think on a similar note, you both probably have to ask for help every now and then. Maybe all three of you do. Caterina, one of the things you had shared with us previous to today is that it's okay to ask for help. Can you talk to us about how important that message might be for yourself and many others in the room?
So like, people need help because you can't do it all on your own, especially younger kids. So like, if your disease is getting worse, it'd be nice for adults to help you, because then you can figure out, oh, am I actually getting the care that I need, or do I need to go somewhere specific, like a hospital, a doctor, or a nurse, or someone that you can, or a therapist that can actually tell you what is going on that will happen in your life. Like, oh, like for example, I go like once a year, I have to go down to Duke Hospital where I had my transplant to make sure that I'm recuperating and everything is happening the way it is supposed to make sure I'm getting the nutrients I need. So it's just nice to have somebody there for you to let you know, yes, you're doing well. So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
I like it. Thank you.
You know, one of the things I appreciated about Emily's message before ours was that story about a time John F. Kennedy was touring the NASA facility and, of course, ran into that janitor who was just mopping a floor. And John asked him, or the president asked him, "What are you doing here?" And the janitor responded with, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." And I think speaking to that greater purpose is valuable and important to reflect on. So my question for each of you, we'll start with Caterina. What role do you see yourself playing in this journey towards a treatment or a cure?
What do you mean role? What role? What? I'm confused.
Yeah, what part you play? What's your contribution? What do you think you can do to help make a difference?
Just like be yourself and just focus on what you need to do. Like if you are having trouble with, like, for me, I go to school and I go to a big high school, and I just switched. I went to a smaller school before. I went to the Lewis school, and now I go to a huge school, and I'm in small group classes. So just ask around if you need help, like tell them that you need help, and just be yourself. If you have any questions, ask them, and just be honest and talk to people if you need to, and just ask around.
Be yourself. What an incredible message for kids and adults alike. Thank you. Kyle needs help, and he asks a lot. And I appreciate that. All right, Maya, same question. What do you think your part is in this journey with Fabry disease?
I think that part of my role is being a representative of someone with a rare disease, just showing that I can live my life, and that it's okay to be different than other people. It's okay to have limitations. It doesn't make you weak or bad. It's just part of having a rare disease, and I just think I would want to continue to spread more awareness about them and educate people on what it's like to have a rare disease and how you can help people with rare diseases.
Helping others is valuable. Thank you. All right, Annie, what part do you think what part can you play, or do you play?
I think my role is to spread more awareness for all rare diseases and to let people know, especially teenagers like Maya and Caterina, to know that they're not alone and that having a rare disease doesn't make you any less strong than everyone else.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So, Annie, I'm going to start with you this time. We're going right back to you. And this question is for all three of you. If there was one thing that you've learned in your 15, 16 years, 17 maybe, that either about your disease or just about life, what do you want to share with other teens and families with rare disease that you've learned in the last 15 years?
Well, definitely the biggest lesson I've learned is to live your life to the fullest. If you have a rare disease, it's really hard to accept that you have a rare disease, but you just gotta keep living your life, and you have to make the most of every second, even if you don't have a rare disease.
All right, Maya, what do you think? What have you learned in your life?
I've definitely learned that I'm more than just my diagnosis, that each one of us with a rare disease, there's so much more to us than just, having Fabry or whatever we have. We're into all these different things. We're such complex people, and we need to embrace every aspect of ourselves and remind ourselves that we're not defined by our illness, but who we are as a person and our actions and our interests and everything about us.
Absolutely.
Love it.
All right, Caterina, what would you say you have learned in your life? What wisdom can you impart?
I probably just learned to just be in control of what is happening around you, how you're trying to live through your life. Just what Annie said, try to live it's not a perfect life. You have a rare disease and you can't get rid of it, so just try to live the life you have, and you can just work through it by just living it every day, because you will have this and you can't get rid of it.
I like it. I think that's a message for everyone, because oftentimes the vision of our life doesn't really match up to the reality that we're living with, and that's the challenge we have. And so living the life that you've been given, I think, is an amazing message. So thank you for that.
Take along with that, in any walk of life, we have two options every day. We can either choose to focus on the garbage, the hard stuff, the negative, the setbacks, the challenges, or we can choose to reflect on what's good in life, our friends, our family, the fact that we're still breathing. All these little things. Life is good if you let it be good. It's only bad if that's the perspective you choose to have. I really appreciate your messages so far, ladies. I know we're getting close to wrapping up, so one of our biggest questions, we think it's valuable for us and those in the room. If you had some advice to give to another child or teenager that perhaps just got diagnosed with your condition or another, what sort of advice might you pass on to that teenager? And we'll start with Maya.
Some advice that I would pass on to either newly diagnosed or has known about their disease for their whole life. Just continue to live your life and enjoy everything that you can, because you may not be able to change your diagnosis or cure it, but there's so much more to life than just that. You can do so many things regardless of your limitations. You can still love your family and laugh with them and hang out with your friends and do the things you enjoy, like read or sing, or just be yourself in as many ways as you possibly can.
Beautiful.
All right, Caterina, we'll go to you with that question. If you had some advice to pass on to another teenager or child, what might that advice be?
Some advice that I might give someone that was just that find out that they had a diagnosis or they've known for a long time is just enjoy the moment, because you'll have it for the rest of your life, so you can just enjoy it, do the things you love, hang out with your friends, be with your family, and just take it one day at a time, because you will have this for the rest of your life.
I love that.
One day at a time. That's a really good one.
How do people climb Mount Everest? It's one foot in front of the other.
Right.
How do you ride a bike or cross country? It's one pedal stroke after another pedal stroke. I love that. Thank you, Caterina. All right, Annie, if you had some advice to pass on, what would that be?
I would say my advice is to enjoy other parts of life. This disease that you have, however bad it is, it's not the end of the world, and there's more things to enjoy, especially the people around you. Just don't take them for granted.
All right. All right, and as we're getting closer to the end, we want to know what you guys want to be when you grow up. And so, Caterina, we're going to start with you. Tell us what you want to be when you grow up.
I think I want to be a fashion designer, because I really like clothes and just everything. At the moment, I love to shop, and I just like the cool trends and stuff. So I think that I would enjoy that. And I also take sewing, and I love creativity. So I feel that it would be cool to do something with fashion or just something with clothes in general, because I love doing that sort of activity, designing, going shopping, and just I feel that I would love to do something in the fashion industry.
I think we've got the next Prada designer right here.
If you do men's clothing, I'm a schmedium. Kyle probably is too.
All right, Maya, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I either want to go into psychology, so counseling, Probably pediatric counseling because I really like kids. Or on the flip side, go into the medical field, maybe like a physician's assistant.
So what is it about those positions or careers that you are attracted to, that you're like, all right, I want to do that with the rest of my life? Why?
Well, as someone who's been in like a lot of hospitals and doctor's office, like I know what it's like to be a patient and to deal with like not only the physical side of any life struggles, but the mental as well. So I just want to help people, and I really like psychology and anatomy for going to the medical field. So that's something that has always just interested me.
And you've probably been, like you said, in a few hospitals and situations where you're like, no, you're doing it wrong. You got like, I can do it better than that, right? All right, Annie, what do you think? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I would love to be a doctor, maybe a surgeon, because I've been around a lot of doctors and I really appreciate what they do for me. And I would just love to be a doctor and to help people. And like Maya was saying, I know what it's like to be a patient. So I feel like if I were a doctor, then knowing what it's like, I could help them more because I was once that patient.
Wow.
All three of you have phenomenal perspective, and we so appreciate you sharing with us. I think we all can relate. Everybody's gonna have bad days, right? We get a flat tire, we lose a loved one, somebody breaks up with us, maybe a bill comes out of nowhere, maybe you get diagnosed with something you didn't see coming. Whatever the case may be, there's always gonna be a hardship, no matter who you are. And all of us up here believe there's always a reason to get out of bed. There's always a reason to live beyond the circumstances. You heard it from the girls. We're not defined by our disease. It's okay to be ourselves. Enjoy the moment no matter what it is going on in your life. If you're breathing, it's a good day. I don't believe that there's a bad side of the bed to wake up on. If you woke up, you're in a good place. Kyle and I think all of us would agree, we realize the significance and the power that every single person in the room plays in this journey to make life better for a lot of people. And we're so incredibly grateful that Amicus, no matter what your job is here, whether you're a brand new intern or you're a facilities individual or you're filing papers or you're in a lab, you're making a difference in so many lives, and we so appreciate everything you do. We appreciate you showing up every day and getting the job done. And girls, thank you for being willing to chat in front of a lot of people. And to talk about your journey so openly and candidly. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Kyle and I had such a great time doing that event. The Make-A-Wish wishing place was beautiful. Amicus Therapeutics was incredibly warm and inviting. Of course, Caterina, Maya, and Annie all did a phenomenal job. They were a lot of fun to work with. Not only did we have a good time, but we also received some great feedback. after the presentation, and here were some things that other people in the audience were saying.
The event today, it was amazing, very inspiring, and after that I feel more like I want to do more, I want to help more people, and it was beautiful.
It was really great. You guys did awesome!
This definitely lifted my spirits a lot and gave me more hope for everyone with rare diseases. And just, it was a lot of fun and encouraging.
I absolutely would highly recommend Two Disabled Dudes. I think that what you bring is further authenticity because you're living with your own challenges and you're accomplishing so much. You're both amazing examples of positivity, and I think that then can further inspire anybody that you might be speaking to or interviewing, and I think it brings everybody up to a higher level.
Tom Weatherall. I am the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish, New Jersey. Here's what I would say. Don't even think about it. Just get Two Disabled Dudes there. Just make it happen.
Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Find us online at twodisableddudes.com and please subscribe on the iTunes. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And special thanks to our audio producer, Jake Tompkins.
Until next time, keep living with urgency.